Your Excellency, President Mohamed Nasheed, Your Excellencies, Honourable Ministers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Before I begin, I would also like to bring greetings from my colleague and many congratulations to you, Mr. President, and the Government of Maldives for this far-sighted initiative being taken. This is from Mr. Marco Gonzalez, the Executive Secretary of the Vienna Convention on the Protection of the Ozone Layer and the Montreal Protocol. I would like, Mr. President, to extend my sincere gratitude to the Government of the Maldives for inviting the Multilateral Fund Secretariat here today. I am truly honoured to be part of this historic occasion to initiate the HCFC phase-out management plan for the Maldives and to be here in these beautiful and spectacular islands. Since 1991, the Multilateral Fund's goal has been to support governments in developing countries to enable them to implement the Montreal Protocol. The Multilateral Fund has provided over $2.5 billion to 148 countries to phase out 271,000 tons of consumption and 185,000 tons of production of substances that harm the ozone layer. It is not surprising that the achievements of the Multilateral Fund are cited as a prime example of successful international environmental cooperation. The spirit of cooperation within the Multilateral Fund community stems from the principle of common but differentiated responsibilities and clearly illustrates that humankind can find ways to fulfill its profound responsibilities to protect the earth, the environment and the communities that live in it. The ozone layer is on its way to recovery, but the benefits of the Montreal Protocol and its Multilateral Fund do not stop there. Research published in 2007 shows that the phase-out of ozone-depleting substances under the Montreal Protocol contributed significantly to climate protection, since the substances phased out, for example CFCs, were also very potent greenhouse gases. The pursuit of dual benefits is an integral component of Decision 19.6 from the 19th meeting of the parties, by which the parties to the Montreal Protocol decided to accelerate the phase-out of HCFCs. Substances not only damage the ozone layer, but also play a role in climate change. Decision 19.6 directed the Executive Committee of the Multilateral Fund to give priority to cost-effective HCFC phase-out projects and programs which focus on substances and alternatives that minimize other impacts on the environment, including and in particular the climate, and take into account global warming potential, energy and other relevant factors. Mr. President, the dual benefits mean dual challenges. A new era for the Multilateral Fund, as it seeks to stem the growth of HCFC consumption in developing countries, has taken place. Over the last 2 years, the Montreal Protocol and its Multilateral Fund have been working towards supporting the goal of accelerating phase-out of HCFCs. The Executive Committee has looked at how HCFC phase-out could be funded and ways to assess the level of funding required by each country to meet the phase-out targets. The committee has also encouraged countries and implementing agencies to explore potential financial incentives and opportunities to cover the costs of maximising environmental benefits of HCFC phase-out. The committee has also been considering a special funding facility within the Montreal Multilateral Fund, which might potentially provide additional sources needed to maximise environmental benefits. At its most recent meeting in April this year, the Executive Committee agreed a majority of policies to enable developing countries to initiate HCFC phase-out activities and to reflect in full the spirit of Decision 19.6. And this is the meeting at which the HPMP for Maldives was approved. In this context, the committee also included consideration of additional funding for the introduction of low global warming potential alternatives to HCFCs, instead of converting to technologies that might be less expensive but use high global warming gases such as HCFCs, which fall under the Kyoto Protocol. This marks a small but significant change from the Multilateral Fund's approach to select the lowest cost technology to achieve the required reduction in ozone-depleting substances. Furthermore, the Executive Committee is developing an approach to prioritise technologies that will replace HCFCs so that the most cost-effective and environmentally friendly technologies could be chosen. I am sure that you are all aware that the 30th meeting of the Open-Ended Working Group of the Montreal Protocol will consider an amendment to the Montreal Protocol to include the phase-down of hydrochlorofluorocarbons, HFCs that is, which are currently listed in the basket of gases under the Kyoto Protocol. These are, of course, one of the replacement substances for HCFCs. And while they are not ozone-depleting, they are potent greenhouse gases with a very high global warming potential. If the amendment to the Montreal Protocol were adopted, it would lead to a greater role for the Multilateral Fund in the respect of climate protection. Your Excellency, Honourable Ministers, and distinguished delegates, thank you once again for inviting me to be here with you today. I wish the Government of Maldives every success in the implementation of its HPMP, and I'm sure that you will rise to these tremendous challenges. I would like to reiterate the Executive Committee's appreciation of the commitment taken by your government to freeze HCFC consumption in 2011 and to accelerate the complete phase-out of HCFCs 10 years in advance of that required by the Montreal Protocol. I have no doubt that the leadership shown by the government of the Maldives will provide an inspirational example to other developing countries, particularly the low-volume consuming ones and the small island states, in their efforts to achieve both ozone and climate benefits, and, of course, to neighbouring large consumers. Thank you very much.